Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Franchise Entrepreneur. I'm Des Phoebe, your host, and today I want to talk to you about multiple streams of income. Now, what is multiple streams of income? It is, I guess, what it says on the tin. You may have your main income, and that could be your job, could be your business, but you might have that kind of little itch or sensation that maybe you're not quite achieving the things that you want. That could be financial, or maybe you're missing out on things in terms of material things, or it just could be that you've just got that deep sense that you're not quite achieving the expectations that you've set for yourself. So multiple streams of income can give you the opportunity of not only the financial benefits, but also the self-satisfaction that you're achieving something for yourself, which maybe you can't get from working for someone else. And it could also be that even if you are working for yourself and you have your own business, there might be certain restrictions on that business in terms of growth, high capital expenditure to grow that business, and you're just looking for maybe an easier route, a side route or something like that. So, why do people look for multiple streams of income as opposed to one? I mean, probably, certainly in my parents' day, they would never even have dreamed of earning second income streams. Their job was their job. They did it 9 till 5. They went home, they had their family time, and then, they worked 5 days a week, and that was it. It was a very traditional way of thinking, and a lot of people, probably 95% of the people, still probably think that way. But multiple streams of income should be considered because it can give you more control over your life. It gives you potentially more independence through more money, a sense of achievement, which, as I've said before, you may not get from working on your 9 to 5 job, whether that's working within your own business or whether it's working within someone else's. The advance in technology makes it so much easier to attain a second income without actually leaving your home. So it's not even a case that you have to set up a business which has a physical presence anymore. The advent of Amazon, eBay, the advancement in Apple phones or the Android phones, all of that is at your fingertips now. That wasn't available to you or anyone else 10, 15 years ago. So the ease of access, as I said, the self-satisfaction, the achievement, it could be temporary or it could be lasting. It could be something that you want to just do in order to earn some money for a particular event in your life. That could be a holiday, it could be saving for your daughter's or son's wedding, it could be for something quite specific. But the opportunity to earn is there because you've got such access to things like eBay and Amazon. So even if it was a case of you just want to sell some of your old stuff and clutter that you want to get rid of, there's money in that. I know people who earn a 30 grand income a year just simply from selling their own old stuff and friends and families. So, that's not bad, is it? That's actually higher than the average income in this country. With little effort, Amazon, eBay take all the heavy loading off you. And that's in addition to their normal 9 to 5 job. It actually pays them more than a 9 to 5 job. So I think they're probably earning, somewhere in the region of £20,000 to £25,000 from the normal job. They've doubled their income. And with that income that they make, they put into savings. Over a 20-year period, if you allow for compounding and interest, etc., they'd be close to £1 million. That's all it takes to actually get yourself into a financial freedom state if you start that early enough. So, life expectancy, we're all going to live longer, barring any major illnesses. The fact is that we're all expected to live longer. Now, I know obviously retirement ages have been extended in terms of jobs, but then maybe that's another reason for you to look to take early retirement, but then supplement that income through another stream of income. It gives you that flexibility. I remember that, when my father retired, he was looking to do part-time work in terms of, maybe working in the garden centre or working for B&Q or Homebase or something like that. Well, you don't need to even do that now. Of course you miss the social contact if you don't do something like that. But if you don't want to leave your home, if you want to still have control and some independence, then you can do it from home. As long as you've got an iPhone, iPad or something like that, you can create these multiple streams of income very, very easily, very, very quickly. It's not age specific or age dependent. It doesn't matter whether you're 12 years or 65 years old. You've still got the same access. And when I say access to Amazon, eBay, etc., you're not restricted to that. The internet, the mobile phone, has enabled you to have access to CEOs, founders of businesses that you could never have had 15 years ago. Go onto LinkedIn, I can probably gain access to most people at high levels in those industries simply by just sending them a direct message or commenting on one of their posts. Couldn't have done that years ago. And that access gives opportunity. It breeds opportunity. So, how would you do this? Well, I've come up with, I think, 5 key areas that I believe you need to look at in your daily routines and your daily life in order for you to put yourself in a position to earn multiple streams of income. Now, you could, depending on your circumstances, just wake up one day and look to do something like this. But the reality is that most of us live a busy life. Most of us have the reality of life where things get in the way and you have to schedule things, you have to plan things. So I think it comes down to 5 areas that I've identified. Now, the first one is what I call habit creation. We all have habits that we've installed in ourselves over many years. In order to create a new habit, and that's the time to spend on a multiple streams of income or another income stream, you have to quite often create new habits. I'm not talking about breaking habits, because you never really break a bad habit. That habit, it just needs to be replaced with something new. Now that can be simply getting up earlier in the morning. If you're someone that gets up at 7 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no point in trying to do everything at once. You need to create space in your life initially to be able to introduce something new. So you need to create those habits, and the habit will be first and foremost creating the space for something to move into that space. Obviously, identifying what it is that you want to do. So first and foremost, create new habits that will enable you to do something new. Secondly, obviously time. Time is important for all of us. But the reality is that you have the same amount of time as I have. I have the same amount of time as a multimillionaire. Don't use time as an excuse. It's not about creating time. It's about creating that space. The space will come from some of the habits that you create. But then it's about creating the habit of using that time more effectively. So like I said, if you get up at 5 o'clock, use maybe an hour a day on your side hustle, on your other opportunity to earn that income. It could only take an hour a day. 1 hour to start preparation, come up with the idea, look to see what the opportunities are. It could just be that you're selling stuff on eBay. Learn a bit about eBay, set up your accounts on eBay. Don't do everything at once, but create the space, create the time. Access. You need to identify the portals or the opportunities for you to create this side hustle or this second income. Now, it could be that you're more traditional. It might be that you want to do things like market stalls or just more traditional things like that. Or it could be that you're just looking online. It could be that you're looking to go to festivals or fairs or festivals and village fairs and things like that. So you need to identify how you can access those points. This is all preparation. I guess you can put this one down to preparation. You need to ensure that it's relatively easy for you to adopt. There's no point in making something so complicated and hard that you're going to give up at the first hurdle. So look for something that is relatively easy and simple for you to formulate, and also simple for you to stick to. If you make the goal too difficult, And remember, this is your side hustle. This is your second income, right? So this isn't maybe something that you're looking to build your whole world around. This is something to support the lifestyle that you want. You've still got your main income through your business or through your job. So don't make it so overcomplicated that it actually becomes all-consuming, that it doesn't leave space for anything else. Because all that will do is lead to stress, disappointment, and effectively failure. So make it easy enough for you to be able to implement over a period of time. Again, it's important that you don't overload. Otherwise, you just simply won't do it. And I think finally, it's patience. Now, when I first started my franchise business, it started off as a side hustle. It didn't start off as my main stream of income. Not many people know that. I actually had another business, and that business was a late night, should we say, food quick service destination, i.e. pizzas, kebabs, burgers. And it did really well, and it was very successful, but I knew that it probably wasn't something that I wanted to carry forward. You know, I was in my 30s. It certainly wasn't conducive to bringing up a family and working till 5 o'clock in the morning. So I knew there was limitations on it, and I knew there was a lifespan for that business for me working in it. So I needed to find a second income, which I thought would maybe be a second income and then maybe eventually replace my main income. And that's how it turned out. But I needed to make sure that it was a business that I could implement. It needed to be in an industry that I had some experience in and I knew. It had to be accessible, so it needed to be close by. And it turned out that I opened up that business only 2 doors down from my initial business. So it ticked that box. It was in food as well, so it ticked that box. I knew food. And it eventually replaced my main income. Now, that was before I had access to iPhones and the internet access that we have today. If I had the access that I have today, it might have been a very different business. It may well have been something online. It may have been a dark kitchen or a virtual kitchen operating out of my first business. You know, different opportunities are there now, but weren't there previously. But I haven't stopped that mentality. I still look for additional income streams. You know, if you look at our businesses now, you know, I just mentioned, you know, dark kitchens or virtual kitchens. That's a second income stream. And we operate those from our current stores. You know, our franchising is another income stream. Our international franchising is an income stream. I've bolted all of these things on as I go along. But there has to be some compatibility, there has to be some synergies in order for me to be able to implement them with less friction. And that's what I'm saying to you, is that you need to look on how to introduce a second income stream or opportunity by ensuring that there's at least amount of friction to that being successful. And that could be time, could be access to technology, it could be creating new habits, it could be the ease and how easy it is for you to implement into your lifestyle. But then coming back to this system that I look at, this 5-point system, and you can create your own system, but make sure that you make those points and outline those points early on and follow those. What's it going to take for me to create this income stream? Okay, I need to create new habits. I need to create a bit more time and space for this to access my life. I need these tools, i.e. it's something that I can do on the internet. I can do it on eBay, and then identify obviously what it is that you can do, whether it's just buying and selling. So you might buy from someone else on eBay and you might then sell it for a bit more on eBay, or you might buy something from a market stall and then sell it. But the other main thing is patience. It's unlikely that you're just going to create an income that quickly that's going to replace your existing income. To have some patience, show some patience. Sometimes these things take time. You know, if it takes a year, then fine, it takes a year. As long as you're seeing some progress, as long as you know that there's a market for what it is you're doing, show some patience, build your habits, create those habits, create the time for this new opportunity to move into, and make sure that it's easy enough for you to implement that you don't lose interest and it doesn't become a burden to you. Because even if you're not earning much money from it initially, if it's not a burden, it's not creating friction in your life, then it's something that you're likely to maintain and eventually start seeing the benefits of. So all of those things I think are really, really important. Now I understand that you might be thinking, well, I don't have the time. I lead a busy life. I've got a family. I work 9 till 5. I'm knackered by the end of the week. Well, you have the same amount of time as everyone else. I've mentioned it before. How important is this to you? How important is it to your family? If it's important enough, you'll find the time. And this is why it comes back to what I said. Habit creation is really important. And that habit creation could simply be you just getting up an hour earlier every day. There's a study that was carried out, and I forget where I've read it, but it's had a lot of coverage. And it basically says that on average, on a normal working day, most people only have 2 to 3 hours of productivity within their working day. 2 or 3 hours. So what is everyone doing for the rest of the time? Yeah, they're fanning around a lot of the time. They've been busy, not being productive. And that's for most people. They think that even the most successful people only are productive between 4 and 5 hours a day. So that tells you how much time you actually really do have. You must be able to fit in an hour, because that's all we're talking about. It's probably an hour in order to create a new habit, create this kind of online business. Take your time, create it, don't put yourself under too much pressure, and then spend an hour either in the evening when the kids are in bed or early in the morning in maintaining and operating that business. Remember, companies like Amazon and eBay do all the heavy lifting. So it's not as hard as what you might think. If you want the money and you want the benefits that money can give you and the second income can give you, the lifestyle that it may potentially give you, then you've got to find a way of creating the space in your life. And I'm not even going to say time, because it's space. We've all got the same amount of time. Warren Buffett's got no more time than the rest of us. He creates the space for the opportunity to move into. And when do you do this? So, there's no better time than the present, is there? The sooner you start creating those habits and that space for these opportunities to move into, the better. Time is not a limit here. Age is not a limit. If you're 12 years old, there's opportunities for you to create an influencer business simply by just doing YouTube videos or TikTok videos and commenting on a toy. There's multi-millionaire 14-year-olds that simply have just done that. So the opportunities are there. It doesn't matter whether you're 70 years old. The internet does not age discriminate. People who buy off you on eBay or Amazon are not interested in how old you are. They don't know how old you are. They don't care how old you are. So now is as good a time as any. If you want those financial freedoms, you want the benefits, you want some control and independence in your life, then there's no time like the present. So look, I hope you found that interesting. It's something that is quite close to my heart in terms of creating multiple streams of income. It's something that I will probably continue to do over my business life. And well, as I'm never going to retire because I have no interest in retirement, it's something that I will just keep on bolting on to my businesses. Some will fail, some will be successful. But I get a great deal of joy out of creating something from nothing. So yeah, I hope you found that interesting. Please leave your comments. Please review. I'm happy to hear any comments on this podcast. And listen out for the next podcast. And also do tune into my YouTube channel if you're interested in documentary style programs. We're doing one on our new concept, Dodo Neapolitan Pizzeria and Bar. And you follow that through from the conception idea, all the way through to its launch, and then hopefully through to a point where we have it franchise ready. So it's very interesting to follow if you are into business and you want to see how a business starts from scratch all the way through to a point where someone is then franchising it on the high street. So thank you again for joining me, and join me again next week for The Franchise Entrepreneur. And remember, don't let your reality of today get in the way of your dreams. Thank you.